Okay. So now I would like to go over the basics of drawing in Illustrator. Now you can see I've got my pen tool up here. And again, I did the pull out by clicking on the tool and then heading out to the right-hand side. And you've got that little bar with the tiny little white arrow. I click on that and it gives me my tool pull out because I like to have them handy because I will be wanting to add anchor points and delete anchor points and alter anchor points all through my drawing. And it's just easier than having to go back over to the left-hand side and digging underneath there to find it every time. Okay. So at the moment, you will see I have a blue fill and no stroke. I definitely want a stroke, so I'm going to change that. I will leave the blue fill on just because it will show us what we are doing. Now, the most basic way to draw in Illustrator is to click and every time I click, it adds a new point to my drawing, right? And you can see how that crazy line is moving around because it is trying to fill what is at the moment not a shape, okay? Now, if I want to disengage my pen at any time, which I will definitely want to be doing because I want to stop this drawing, you can always hit escape, the upper left-hand key, and that disengages your pen. And black arrow allows you to select the whole thing and move it around. White arrow allows you to select either a single point and you can move it, or you can select a point, hold shift, select multiple points and pull them around. You can also use the arrow keys on your keypad to move the points around. And if you want to deselect them, Command D will deselect them. Also, clicking out from your drawing will deselect it as well. Okay, so that's the first part, but we want to get some curves happening, and that's why this tool on the drawing little pullout is so handy, because what that does is you grab your little anchor and it turns it into a curve, right? And I click on it and I pull, and you can do this with a mouse. You can do this with a stylus if you have one. And you can see how all my curves are now coming into place by clicking and dragging on those points, right? Because we want to have lots of curves. And I'm going to turn off my fill for the moment so you can see what I'm actually doing with my line. That is the line, okay? So it's gone from all my angle to now curvy. And if you click on the line, it will show you with the white arrow where all your points are. These are called anchors, okay? And again, I click and pull with my convert tool, and it can make it into some great looking curves. If I want to adjust the curve, I can grab the handlebar and move it around. If you want to adjust both, you can click the anchor itself and pull. You can also just grab one arm individually. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. And I want to select that point, and it'll give me my anchors. And then again, I can play with my handlebars to get my curves that aren't even. If I want to go back to an angle, I can just click on that point again, and it becomes the original angle. Click and pull from the center. I get two handlebars. Click on one handlebar. I can adjust it. If I want to adjust that again, I can white arrow click that point, and then grab that handle individually. Okay, so black arrow is for everything. White arrow allows you to select individual points. And then if I've got that, see, a little white point means it's not selected. Once it's colored in, then I can move it around and nothing else is moving. In terms of layers, the layer that you are working on is indicated by the color of your guideline. Okay, my line is not blue, it is actually black, but because I'm working on the blue layer, it is showing as blue. If I hop up to the red layer, which is one above it, and I draw a new line, and this time I'm going to click, and instead of, like, that's my basic, right? And then I went back and adjusted it using that tool up there. But what you can also do is while you are drawing, if you click, but don't take your finger off the mouse and pull, you can draw curves while you are drawing in real time, okay? So again, click finger off, gives me angles, click, but hold and pull, and I get those nice handlebars. So once you get more comfortable, you can become very good at drawing curves while you are actually working in the drawing itself, okay? And you can see that because, again, I'm on the red layer, my guidelines are red, like that. Now, at the moment, this is an open shape. If I go back to my first point that I started and click on it, say I get that little circle, that closes the shape, right? And we want to have closed shapes because they fill better, like in terms of color, right? Oops, let's make sure I've got my fill selected. Control Z, Command Z on the Mac allows you to step back. I want to click on lower left-hand corner, my fill, and I'm going to make that a color. But I have such a limited range of colors here. It makes me sad. So there's several things you can do. You can open up your color picker over here, click anywhere in here and do all kinds of interesting stuff, right? Like the higher up you get, the lighter it is in terms of the chroma. See how I'm, as I go darker, 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 and then depending on where I'm clicking in, it will change the color very easily, okay? Really beautiful browns usually come from dark oranges, just FYI, okay? Now, the other thing I can do is I have the swatch menu, but this, as I said, is this kind of real limited palette, but I can also go up to here to swatch libraries. And I head down here to open swatch library. And then I want to go to color book. So it's kind of a multiple step thing. So I go swatch library, color books. And then I like using a CMYK uncoated, which is actually used for printing. But instead of that boring little set, I have a really nice large range of color to play with. All right. Cool thing about this, if you have the color picker open, is you can click on a color and then go into here and play with the variations of that, the tones within those colors. Because designers, we want to have a lot of options when we are working on and mixing our colors. Okay. So that is how to draw basic shapes in Illustrator.